What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about Sofi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what really moved it, and what shorts did. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Sofi did go down 2.32%. After hours is going up slightly, but 13.39 the low, 14.28 is the high. A lot of volume though, so 54.9 mil for that, 60.9 is the average. A couple of different things did really cause some volatility today, one of which is CPI. So for face value, if you look at CPI, it came in line with the expectations, both on a month-over-month and year-over-year basis. This has been my kind of problem. Every time CPI comes out, I always bring this up because honestly, if you look at this information, then yes, it's relatively good and moving in the right direction as to what even the Fed's want. This individual even stated that it's moving towards the Fed's 2% goal. But if you look at the true data behind the scenes, it shows energy did go down. So of course, basic math, other basket items did go up. So this is why the Feds like to look at PCE rather than CPI, because like CPI is very heavily weighted by energy. So energy is kind of skewing the numbers essentially. So this information isn't all that great, not to dampen the mood or anything like that. But if you kind of look at the last couple reports, CPI reports, you always have this spike up. The market looks at it for face value, and then big money just quietly likes to just sell off based on the true data. So it's kind of interesting. And plus, like I said, leading into today, broader indexes, a lot of stocks are relatively overbought. So first sign of weakness, you're going to see some volatility in the downside. And plus, you're also having at the same time some escalations on tentative tariffs between China and the States. A lot of just speculation on what sectors might be hit. So it looks like it might get interesting in the next couple months. But as of right now, I think Sofi did still do fairly well. It held up for the most part. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Interestingly enough, though, shorts were really returning a lot. So ultimately, by this stage right here, shorts were returning around 5.7 million shares. They did start to kind of cover and buy back some shares, which caused this downtrend right here. So I'll go over that in a second. No actual news from Sofi itself, no SEC filings. So it was kind of just at the mercy of the broader market. One thing that I did want to share with you, because of the CPI data that did come out, right now for the December 18th meeting, there is a 82.3% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. So you never know. The market might start to really price that in. So that might have a second or third, or I guess a fourth wave potentially higher now. So that might be a good catalyst, at least in the next little bit. Aside from that though, options. So I'm going to go over that. Then I'll touch on shorts, but 33 million in calls, 5.82 million in puts. 46% of all the options being done were bearish. Of the call options that were purchased today, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $15 range. That seems to be where more so the consensus is for the, I guess, next couple of weeks. And then looking at puts, you see a consensus for it to be sub roughly around 13 to 12.50. So in my opinion, still a lot more upside is anticipated. And like I said yesterday, they did open up new chains, not that much in volume, as you can kind of see right here. So kind of small amounts. But if we kind of look over here, just to give you a good overview. So if you choose June the 20th, 2025 as the expiry date, if you did sell a call or vice versa, if you bought a call, it's roughly around 44 cents. So that's actually not that bad if you do have a long-term time horizon, or let's say you just want to collect premiums. Selling $28 calls might be a good way to go, but you never know, right? A lot could happen from now until June. Could have a very nice run, especially just looking back over the last 1 month alone. Sofi's ran up, was it like 40 something percent? it was exactly 38. So 38.37%. So you never know. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. But moving over to shorts, by the end of the day, they did return 920,000 shares. 14.49% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 154.35 million shares. Like I kind of mentioned at the very beginning, shorts were kind of returning around 5.7 million shares. They did cover, so meaning they kind of sold some shares. So it is inverse. So by them increasing their position, they're actually adding selling pressure. Hopefully I said that right, but ultimately they're kind of the culprit that really kickstarted this downtrend, just feeding off of the broader market, right? So the broader market started to kind of pull back during the same time period. But at the end of the day, there is more than 10 million shares available to be shorted. So if they really did feel that there was justified cause for SoFi to be down, they could easily increase, but they didn't, right? It's been a while. I think before even SoFi's earnings, we saw cost to borrow minimum being negative. So it's back at it. So there is that one broker trying to stimulate some actual shorting with SoFi. So cost to borrow minimum is negative 0.13%. So that's back at it once again. So we'll see if that causes a string of more shorting or something like that. But these are all the transactions that have occurred on the secondary market above $100,000. So kind of a string of selling after hours, 1.69 million, 12 million during the actual trading day, especially during power hour, kind of mixed. So some buying, some selling. So yeah, definitely a lot more selling today versus last several trading days. So like I said, I think that was kind of normal, especially looking at the technicals. It's still bullish. I'll quickly go over here and show you what I mean by that. So technically still above the ALMA. Super trend is still looking good above the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages. MACD is bullish, but the only caveat is the fact that it is overbought. So you're going to have some volatility. One thing to really watch for, though, is that ALMA. Right now it is at $13.33. So if it does break below that, then this is where you could see more of a kind of significant pullback. The two amigos, they have yet to actually give ratings yet. So I think it timed out right here. So ignore that. I'll give you guys an update on some analyst ratings and stuff like that going into tomorrow's video. But right now with it at $13.58, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So $13.69 is going to be the next strong kind of target for SoFi. And then $13.12 will be that next strong support. And for those of you that watched my pre-market video, even though it did show a lot of signs of really breaking out, I said that ultimately it is most likely going to trade between this R2 and this R1 today. So that's kind of exactly where it did land. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Did you buy SoFi at all today? Did you lock in profits? Tomorrow, I feel like I do want to kind of sell some covered calls for this. So that $28 strike price, 44 or even 55 cents an option, that's definitely pretty good. And that would be a pretty kick-ass return on investment to sell it at 27 or 28. So definitely something to kind of consider, but you never know, right? SoFi this time, like next year or even by June, it could be significantly higher. Who knows? Anything's possible. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, if you do like my channel, want to support the growth, you can definitely join as a member. So I did launch memberships with its YouTube channel, a lot of different tiers for whatever floats your boat. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.